How to build Pauper. Part 1. A Guide to Budget Brewing. Pauper is considered to be the most budget-friendly format of Magic the Gathering. With its top-tier decks running only $40 to $50 and homebrews aplenty, it's worth noting that Pauper is a great format to get into. But when it comes to getting into a new format, there are two ways to go about it. This video will serve as an introduction to deck building as it pertains to Pauper, although much of the advice presented here can be applied to other deck building situations for other formats. One option is to just go buy into a deck that you like and begin playing in the format. You could buy into a Pauper Elf deck or Pauper Goblins or even Pauper Tron and begin playing the format right away. This is generally a good idea as these decks are tried and true working builds for players to use. They've been tested and they've been found to work. The downside is that players familiar to the format will already know and have ways to work around these strategies. Often one of the ways to work around a predicted play is to brew something that's completely out of left field. Pauper is the brewer's paradise, so some people wouldn't expect a deck that you came up with yourself, or have cards that have yet to see Pauper play. But how do you go about brewing a new Pauper Magic the Gathering deck? There is so much more to deck building than just getting a bunch of common cards and slapping them together with some lands. There is research and development into strategies, synergies, and support that one must keep in mind when building a deck. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be using a black-green dredge build to demonstrate some of the cards and explanations. As we are only in commons, we will have limited access to certain abilities and mechanics. We don't have any Planeswalkers in Pauper, and certain cards that are considered mainstays of other formats are simply not present here. So we must learn to work around these limitations with these points in mind. Step 1. Having a game plan. When we're putting a deck together, we'll want it to do something. Maybe we want to burn our opponent, maybe we want to build a tribal army to overrun our foe. A clear, realistic, and preferably a simple game plan will set us on the right track. In addition, while we will want to put something in the deck towards handling other cards from the opponent and interacting with them in general, we'll want that to be a lesser focus when we are building. The deck can be powerful against the board state, but it needs to be powerful and work on its own to begin. For our dredge deck, we'll want to get out the big cards like Gurmag Angler for 1 mana. To do that, we'll need to fill our graveyard with as many cards as we can to feed into our Delver mechanic. Step 2. Analyzing your cards. We will need to understand what each card that we include does, what its role and mechanics are, and how it contributes to the overall strategy. We will want to analyze how many of a card we will want for our build and why as well. Let's look at one of the key cards that we'll be using in our green-black dredge deck. Grizzly Salvage lets us peek at the top 5 cards. A land or a creature among those can be added to our hands, and the rest get pitched to the grave. So if we need a specific land, or we reveal a creature that's going to help in our current situation, we can snag it before filling our grave with more goodies for later. Since we want to get a good amount of things in the grave, we will want to run a play set of these. They only cost 2 mana, and they can help filter through the deck fast and efficiently. As a result, they're vital to our deck's strategy. Let's look at another card to consider. Doomblade can take out a target non-black creature. This can help remove threats the opponent has, provided we're not paired up against another black deck. Since this card merely acts as removal and really doesn't contribute much to getting the pieces we need in place for our game to win, we will only be running 2 of these just to handle creature removal when necessary. We want to be able to play in our first few turns, otherwise we'll be left defenseless as our opponents get their lead on setting up. Step 3. Mana curves. One of the most important things to note in all of Magic deck building is noting your mana curve. You will want to be able to cast your spells when you draw them, so holding on to a lot of high-costed cards is likely not ideal. Since this is a dredge delve strategy, and we will be able to cast our higher-costed creatures for a lot less mana, we can keep the Gurmag Angler at a playset as well. But keep in mind this is not the case for all decks. You will want to keep your mana needs handled as you build a deck. If your deck only runs a single card that requires a blue mana, there is no need to make half your mana base islands. If you keep mana fixing cards like Evolving Wilds or tap lands in the deck, you can get your colors when you need them a lot smoother. And our final step for this video is your deck's archetype. A very important thing to remember is your deck's archetype. What type of deck are you going to be building? Will you be going for an aggressive deck that has a lot of creatures that will deal a lot of damage quickly? Or will you play a more control-oriented build that has more removal and control strategies? Will you be trying to set up a combo using a few cards that will interact in a very interesting way? Depending on your build, you will want to add more or less creatures, more or less removal spells as you feel appropriate. That's going to be it for our first video on Pauper deck building. This is going to be the first in a several part series as we discuss how to best brew your very first budget deck in Pauper. In the next video, we will discuss the best way to find individual cards for your deck and perhaps discover cards you didn't even know existed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to tap the like button down below. Leave me a comment with what you think of this video. And please share this video with your friends in Magic the Gathering Playgroup as it will help this channel grow. Your support and encouragement drive me to make these videos better and better for you. Finally, remember to subscribe to the Planeswalker project for more Magic the Gathering videos. And thank you.